Good morning, all. Today we will start with the minimum and maximum mode for 8086 microprocessor. In the previous lecture, we have studied the different pins of minimum and maximum mode. In this lecture, we are studying the configuration of minimum and maximum mode. How exactly it can be configured into the 8086 microprocessor. So you will come to know exactly what is the difference between the previous lecture and this lecture. In the previous lecture, we have just studied the working of the pins into the our pin diagram or in our 8086 microprocessor. What this pin exactly does. Now we are going to learn how that pins can be exactly work into the 8086 microprocessor. So before going to the lecture, first we'll understand the general bus operations because it is mostly related with the bus operation, that is address bus and data bus. So first we'll understand exactly what is the use of those buses. So the 8086 has a combined address and data bus, commonly refer a time multiplexed address and data bus. So if you seen the pin diagram, so both the data and address carried by the same bus. Okay, so that's need to be separated at the output. Suppose you are that processor has to know that you are transmitting the address or the data, so that are commonly transfer or on a same line. So you must, or the processor must know which is the address and which is the data. So the main reason behind multiplexing the address and the data over the same pin is the maximum utilization of the processor's pins, and it is facilitate the use of 40 pin standard DIP package. Okay, so that is what, because if you extend the data bus is different and address bus is different, so almost there is a 16 there should require 16 more pin. Okay, so it is not useful or it is not a good practice. So that is the reason behind to combine the both address and data bus combinedly. So the bus can be demultiplexed using few latches and the transceivers whenever required. So now at the what happened, there is a latches are used that I will explain in the further slides, that we can demultiplex fetch we are demultiplexing this data and address bus. Okay, so basically all the processors bus cycle consist of at least 4 clock cycles. These are referred as a T1, T2, T3, T4, and the address is transmitted by the processor during T1, and it is present on the bus only for one cycle. Okay, so this is how the bus there is a timing diagram that I will explain in the next lecture. So first you just understand there is nothing but the different timing sets, and in that timing, or that is on clock, we can transmitting that data and address on the same line. Then how it can be distinguished. So we'll go first the minimum mode 8086 system and how it can be configured. So the microprocessor 8086 is operated in a minimum board by strapping the min, oblique mx pin to logic 1. So we know, if you gone through the last lecture, so we know that min and mn and mx, that mn is the active high pin. Suppose you put mn, or if you are connected mn pin to the VCC, so it become logic 1. So your PC, or so your 8086 processor is working into the minimum mode. Okay, so in this mode all the control signals are given out by the microprocessors microprocessor chip itself. There is a single microprocessor in the minimum mode system. So the remaining components in the systems are latches, transceivers, clock generator, memory, and input output devices. So latch are generally buffered output D type flip flops like 74LS373 or 8282. They are used for separating the valid address from the multiplexed address bus. Address and data signal are controlled by the ALE signal generated by the 8086. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? So you come to know the what is exactly I am saying right now. Okay, so in the next lecture I will show in the diagrammatically how exactly that sentence has to be, because this latch is nothing but the D type flip flop. The flip flop is nothing but is storing the bits, or it can be a, we can say, the buffer. So whatever the address bits are coming, that are stored into the that latch. The latch is nothing but 8282 or 74LS373. Okay, so I will explain all the things in this slide. Okay, so in the next slide I will giving the description also. So I will first explain here. So now you can see here, so this is the clock, and here is nothing but the clock signal. So the clock signals are generated. Okay, so the clock pulses are generated into that clock generator, and that is given to the clock ready and reset signal. So now first we'll start with the this min and max pin. So what exactly this pin should be set if you want to operating in minimum mode? Yes, if you want to, you have to set this min max pin to the logic 1. So how you can set this logic 1? So if you go to the digital electronics, simply you can apply the VCC. I hope you remember, if you apply the VCC, then it become logic 1, and if you apply the ground, it will become logic 0. So you just apply logic 1 means apply the VCC, so your 8086 will operate into the minimum mode. Now you can see that here latch, here is one latch and here is one latch, so it is nothing but the transceiver, and here is a latch 2 or 3. Okay, so sorry, this is the latch. Now how it can be operated now, or why it can be used required into the 8086? So it is connected at the output side. Now if you want to separate the data bus and address bus, okay, if you want to separate the address bus and data bus, then you can say the data of the address bus or data bus. So exactly what I want to say, suppose that from transmitter, or sorry, from the 8086 microprocessor you are sending the data, then how it come to know that is the data or address? Because you are sending the signals on the same line. Okay, so here that can be separated. Yes, this is the data and this is the address, so it is nothing but the demultiplex. For the multiplex we are sending the multiple signals on the same line. In the demultiplex it can be separated. Okay, now you can see here, first we'll start with this ALE. Okay, so this is ALE, this stand for this ALE is given to the signal to the clock. Okay, when there is a clock pulse is generated, then it will become, signal will be high, so it will operate on a logic high signal, logic high mode. Okay, so it is the active high mode. So when ALE is a 1, then it is this latch get operated, and this AD0 to AD15 and A15 to AD19, all these signals are carrying from here. Okay, so this up to this, there the processor don't know it is a data line or this is a data or a address. So it is nothing but the enable pin. There is one enable pin, so that is nothing but active low. So that enable pin is connected to the ground, then this latch is come to know, yes, this is the address that I want to receive. Okay, so at that time these signals are given to this latch, and this latch now identify this is the address, and it get stored, and it is used for further application for writing or reading the reading or writing from the memory or into the memory. But at the same time there is a D and R. Okay, so there is nothing but the D and R signal. You can see here, here is a D and DT comma R and DE enable. Okay, so this signal is nothing but what? So DT R, it is nothing but the receiver and transmitter. So suppose there is a 1, so it will transmit, and then this is the R, then it is receive. So when this signal is 1, okay, suppose this signal is 1 here, so what happen? It will read the signal, sorry, it will transmit the signal, because for transmitter it is a 1. Okay, so it transmit the signal, and at the same time when this active enable is high at this point, or we can say this is a D enable. Okay, so data enable, so this data enable pin is 0, it is given to the DIR. So at that time, that address bus or this bus come to know that the data into the bus is the data. Okay, or we can sending the data to the receiver. So at that time, so when this pin will become 1, or sorry, this pin become 0, D enable, so it is given to this, and it will send the data. Okay, or it can receive the data through the data line. Okay, so this is nothing but address, and here can be a data. Okay, so this is how exactly it can, the minimum mode can be operated. Okay, so all these signals, okay, so this is nothing but the memory read, okay, this is nothing but the RAM, ROM, and this is the peripheral devices. So both the read and write operation can be performed in this diagram. Okay, so now I will explain you step by step here. So the transceivers are bidirectional buffers, and sometimes they are called as a data amplifier. So they are required to separate the valid data from the time multiplexed address and the data signals. So they are controlled by the two signals, namely DEN and data DT oblique R. So the DEN signal indicate the direction of the data from to the processor. So means what? So it exactly you are sending the data or you are receiving the data. The system contain the memory for the monitor and user's program storage. Usually EEPROM are used for monitor storage, while RAM for user program storage. So the system may contain input output devices also. So these are nothing but this just a minute. So these three are nothing but the your okay. The system contains both memory, monitor, user program, that is the ROM, EROM, okay, or input output devices. The opcode fetch and the read cycle are similar, hence the timing diagram can be categorized into two parts. The first is the timing diagram for read cycle and second is the timing diagram for write cycle. Okay, so the read cycle begin in T1 with the assertion of address latch enable signal and also memory input output signal during the negative going edge of the signal, and the valid address is latched on the local bus. If you go into timing diagram, that will explain you in the next lecture, then you come to know exactly how this operation can be performed. Okay, so the BHE and AO or A0 signals address low, high or both bytes from T1 to T2, and the memory input output signal indicate the memory or input output operation. Okay, so this is nothing but description of the timing diagram. At a T2, the address is removed from the local bus and is sent to the output. The bus is then tri-state and the read control signal is also activated in T2. Okay, so this is how exactly the operation is performed. So this is for your reference. Okay, this is also for your reference. The write cycle has also begin with the assertion of ALE and the emission of the address. Okay, and the memory input output signal is again asserted to indicate a memory or input output operation, and in T2 after sending the address in T1 the processor sends the data to be returned to the addressed location. So the data remains on the bus until middle of T4 state and the write become active at the beginning of T2, unlike read is somehow delayed to T2 provided time for floating. Okay, so this is how exactly the minimum mode can operate. So we will see now the maximum mode of 8086 system. Okay, so in this maximum mode the 8086 is operated by strapping the MN/MX pin to the ground, right? Now for the minimum mode we are making it logic high, means we are connected this pin to the VCC. For operating the maximum mode we are connecting this pin to the ground, so it will become low. In this mode, the processor derives the status signal S2, S1 and S0. Another chip called bus controller derives the control signal using this status information. So, if what kind of operation you have to perform, it depends on the S1, S2 and S0. So, by setting this bit, we can perform read operation, write operation in memory or input output devices. Okay. So, in the maximum mode, there may be more than one microprocessor in the system configuration, and the component in the system are same as the minimum mode system, and the basic function of the bus controller chip IC8288 is to derive the control signal like RD and WR for or read or write for memory and input output devices, and DIN and data oblique R or ALE etc is the information by the processor on the status line. Okay, so first I will explain here the maximum mode configuration and then we'll go for the description. Okay, so in the maximum mode configuration, just a minute. So I will explain you this first. The bus controller chip has input line S2, S1 and S0 and the clock, and these inputs to 8282 are driven by the CPU. So if you are connected to another latch for separating the data and address bus, that is 8288. It derives the output ALE, DEN, DTR, MRDC, MWTC, AMWC, IORC, IOWC and AIOWC. So that is nothing but memory read, okay, memory read, memory write, advanced memory write, input output read, input output write, okay, advanced input output write, and then enable AEN, IOB and CEN pins are specially useful for the multiprocessor system. So ANE and IOB are generally grounded, and CEN pin is usually tied to 5V plus 5V, and the significance of the MC and PDN output depends upon the status of the IOB pin. Okay, so the intra pin used to issue the two interrupt acknowledge pulses to the interrupt controller or to the interrupting devices. So I will explain you exactly what exactly the minimum mode configuration is. Now you can see here, the clock is generated and given to the system, and the system can be operated on each pulse. Okay, so again here the AD, the latches are connected, so the latches can separate the address and data bus. Okay, so this address and the data bus is connected to here. So if there is an address, then it is given to the latches, and suppose there is a data, it is given to the data buffer. So there are two buffers. Okay, so these are connected, and for the address line it's giving to the store in the latches, and for the data it store into the data buffer. Now you can see here S0, S1 and S2, so it actually perform the operation. Okay, if you go on there, suppose there is a S2, S1 and S0 bar. Okay, suppose there is a all are 0, then 0 0 1. Okay, 0 1 0 1 0 1, then 1 1 0 0 1 1. So 0 0 1 1 1 1. Suppose there is a 0, all bits are 0 0 0. Suppose all bits are 0, then there will be the interrupt acknowledgement. What kind of operation is performed? There is nothing but the operation can be performed interrupt acknowledgement. Okay, so that is not mentioned here. So suppose bit 0 0 1, suppose this S1 S2 and S0 S1 and S2 bit are set, this is giving the signal to the here, and this 8288 latch is given 8288 processor will process the signal, and these signals, now what it can indicate, it indicate the read input output port. Okay, read input output port means this operation can be performed. Okay, read input output port. Now suppose there is a 0 1 0. Okay, 0 1 0, then it can be perform the write input output port, or it can be perform write input output operation. So that is nothing but here. Okay, write input output operation. Suppose now this bit are set 0 1 1, then it can perform the halt operation. Okay, it perform the halt operation means some stop, or we can perform the operation easily, or we can say we have to stop the 8086 microprocessor. Now next is 100. Suppose these bits are set 100, then it can perform the operation instruction fetch. Okay, so it fetch the instruction from the memory. Okay, now next 010, that is nothing but the memory read. If you want the access the memory, or if you want to some data from the memory, then you can perform this operation by setting this bit 101. If you want to write something into the memory, then you can perform this memory read bit. If you want to set this bit 110, okay, then you can perform this memory write operation. Okay, so last one is 111. Suppose all is 1 means this is inactive, this pin is inactive, so it is not performing any kind of operation. Okay, so this is how exactly the maximum mode configuration. And now this address bus, whatever the output from this latch is nothing but the address. Okay, so it can give the only address data is here, or address bits are here and data bits are here. So this coming is the address bus, and this address bus is used for fetching the memory locations from the memory. Okay, or giving the write or read into the memory at a particular location. So this address bus is given to there. Now suppose this AD6 to AD15, suppose this is the data link, or you can say the data line, then it identifies by the signals and given to the data buffer. Now this can be identified again like a minimum mode, similar is there. Now suppose this data is written into the memory, right, or this can be accessed from the memory, okay, from the memory buffer. So whatever the data is come, it will be stored in this data buffer, and now this data buffer can store the data, or it can fetch the data from the memory, as well as it can write the data into the uh, write the data into the peripherals, mean input output devices. Okay, if you want to print the signal into the printer in a here printer, if you want to print in a paper, if in a document, then you can simply write a message. Okay, if you want to read from the message, if you want to take a input from the keyboard, okay, then you can perform the read operation. Okay, so you read the data from the input output devices. So such a kind of operations can be performed in a maximum mode and minimum mode. So this is how the easiest task, not very difficult. So just there is a, you look like the diagram is little bit complicated, but if you go through the proper explanation, if you understand exactly what exactly each pin does, if you have gone through the last lecture, then and then you will understand this maximum and minimum mode. So I request all of you, if you have not seen the last lecture previous, first go to that lecture and then come to this lecture. Okay, so thank you very much for today's lecture. So we will be we will be over here. So that is nothing but the description of the same that I have explained you. The same description is written here. So this is for just your reference. Okay, so thank you very much for, if you have any doubts and any queries, you can simply call me or message me. So thank you very much for today's lecture.